Welcome back to another edition of Inside Indian Hill Braves Athletics here on IndianHillBraves.org and ESPN Media, powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griefer. We're joined by Indian Hill Athletic Director Brian Phelps. Brian's on location today. He's not in the office. He has to rough it out at the mill today because the boys golf team is going for the CHL championship here today. Brian, how are the links this morning?
I'll tell you, it's perfect. We got a little bit of rain as they warmed up. They came in off the putting green. It passed, and it's a beautiful day. I think the little bit of rain helped the course. It's beautiful out here, so hopefully we can shoot pretty low as a team.
I was just about to, we'll just lead right into it because they have the championship going on out there right now. We look at the way that things have shaken out as of late. Wins over Reading and Taylor and Finneytown. Wyoming gets you by one shot, and so it is, as we've talked about, a tightly contested top of the league here. How have they been feeling coming into today, and what have you seen this morning as far as them in their warm-ups and getting ready to get out there?
Yeah, no, they're confident. We were undefeated going into that Wyoming match and actually lost on the tiebreaker. So they both shot 161, went to the fifth score. They know that we control our own destiny. We still sit on top of the leaderboard, and if we win today, we're CHL champs. So it's nice to be in a position where we can control our own destiny when it comes to that. And we play pretty well out here, so we hope to do that today.
Over on the girls' side, are you going to try and make it out to Eagles Nest on Tuesday when they get going as well?
I sure am. So we'll see how that goes. I know we're supposed to have rain all week, so just like today, hopefully we can get some clear skies and the course is in good shape and we can get that round in.
You look at the way things set up on the girls' side as far as scoring goes right now. You have 4 of the top 6 and 5 of the top 9 scorers in the league. I have to imagine they're also, like the boys, feeling really confident about their chances to not only win a team title, but also get an individual champion out of the mix.
Well, absolutely. Our girls have had a nice season. It's a great group of kids. They have the opportunity to be CHL champs. So that's kind of first and foremost on their mind. And then we'll get into tournament play, which is just right around the corner, and see how far we can advance in the OHSAA tournament.
Hopefully the weather holds off for them on Tuesday. One group of athletes who aren't worrying about the weather in Greater Cincinnati because they've made a trek south. That's the cross-country teams. They're down in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. And boy, I got to say, looking at these numbers here, especially with Elizabeth Whaley and everything she has done the last couple of weeks, she goes to Seneca East, sets a new league low time in her run that's more than a minute better than the rest of the field, then goes and sets a course record down at Lake Buena Vista. So she keeps going there on her side. RJ Poffenberger, Jonah Waltz on the boys' side set new PRs. They're now in the top 5 of the league as far as times go in their runs as well. And we also had homecoming be had for the teams down there in Florida. Pretty cool experience for them.
It really was. Both teams did great. Elizabeth set course record, and she's just killing it. That's 3 wins in a row for her. The teams finished 5th and 6th out of 13 teams down there, and neither team was full strength, because it was homecoming weekend. Not everyone made the trip. That's kind of a tricky one sometimes when you try to go out of town, and our homecoming week was actually changed to this week. So some kids that were committed ended up not going. So to perform like that as a team, not having the full team, I think was just was awesome. They had a great experience. Our coach, Sue Savage, made it really feel like homecoming for them. They dressed up and they went to a nice dinner and just had a great time. So I think a win-win all the way around. And it's really exciting to see how fast and how well both our boys and girls runners can do, as we inch into the tournament here.
When you see these results keep coming in from Elizabeth, as I said, blows things away at Seneca East, sets a new course record in Lake Buena Vista, as you said, her 3rd win in a row. What's your reaction when you keep seeing these times come in and you keep seeing her numbers get better and better?
I think that she just keeps getting stronger and stronger. And this is the time of year that as a coach, you hope that your team's starting to get close to that peak. So you're ready for the tournament. And I think the training program's been exactly that. Our kids have seemed to run faster every week. Now, again, we all know weather and the course kind of determines what type of times you're going to have. But we're in a really good spot. We're in a really good spot to make a run, no pun intended, in the tournament here. And yeah, Elizabeth in particular is just such an amazing athlete. She's phenomenal, and she's not the only one. I mean, it's a nice group of both boys and girls, and we look forward to a lot of great things coming up.
And a really great tone they're setting through the middle of the season at this point. Let's switch gears and let's talk about another team that's performing very, very well as of late, and that's your field hockey team, currently in a stretch of 7 in a row on the road, but they've gone through the first 4 unbeaten and winning by a combined 15-1 margin. So not only are we scoring, we're also getting the job done defensively, as has been the calling card here. And we look at the schedule coming up. We've got Oakwood, Ursuline, Summit on the road before we finally come home for 6 in a row. So we're finally getting that vision ahead that we're going to be coming back home here. What have you and the coaches made about the team's ability to perform away from home, especially knowing that we can now see the postseason is just a few weeks away?
Yeah, it's been a really interesting schedule. Some of those, so many road games in a row and so many home games in a row are kind of last minute schedule conflicts that needed to change some things up. So it's kind of a bummer the schedule ended up being that way, but we've embraced it. After losing the first game of the season up in Columbus, they're playing great. Really nice win over St. Ursula Academy, 2-0, who is playing pretty well themselves and have beaten some opponents that we have coming up. And we're really excited about this week. We're going to know where we stand by the time we get through this week in our league and, our state aspirations coming off the state Final Four last year. Not sure what type of team we would have this year. We lost some really great seniors, but so far, really, they haven't skipped a beat. So hopefully they continue their strong winning ways. And we have some good athletes on this team, and they're finding a way to get it done. And as you mentioned, we've started to get some offense going as well. So we're putting some balls in the back of the net, but the defense definitely has been the staple. And as long as they continue to play at a high level, we'll have a chance to win.
What does that say to you about your coaching staff and your program that, as you said, you lost some very talented players from a Final Four team a year ago, and the new crop of players has come in and, to your point, has not missed a beat?
Well, I think it's just the attitude of our coaches and players. There's really not a ton of stress put on these kids. They have a lot of fun playing. They're teaching the game. A lot of our kids are even newer type of players, but I think that experience last year gave kind of those upperclassmen and sophomores even the ability to know what type of team they could be and learn well from the seniors last year. So it's a lot of positive energy going on, and we're really excited to have the team and coaching staff that we have.
Switching gears, moving on to let's talk about girls soccer right now, and looking at the way, and I know we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, how they've been right in every match thus far on the season. We look at the results right now. We're still searching for our first win. However, just continue to keep grinding away at it, and that showed in the last week or so with ties against Carroll and against Taylor as well. Alder's a pretty good program and took it and got you 3-1 there. But nevertheless, I'm wondering, as we look at Madeira and Finneytown coming up in the league, along with Tippecanoe and McNick, how close do the coaches and the girls feel they are to breaking through, getting that first win, and in doing so, feeling that once we get that first win, it can set off a win streak that can carry us through the end of the regular season?
That's exactly right. They're so daggone close. Even with that Alter game, it was 2-0. We scored 2-1. We had a couple chances to make it 2-2. It was that close of a game, and it ended up 3-1. And every game feels like that. So we still have some tough games coming up. We play one of the toughest schedules around for Division II soccer in Cincinnati, and that's by design. We think that we're going to be that scary team when the tournament comes that still no one wants to play us, no matter what our record is. So we're right there. We just have to get over the hump, and hopefully we can finish the season strong.
How have the girls handled this run that we've been on really since the beginning of the season, that we are so close, we're right there, and yet we just haven't gotten through at this point? Are they still just pushing forward with it, or have you seen any kind of negative effect on them and their mindset as they've gone forward? How have they handled it?
I don't think there's any other option. They're all winners. They're used to winning. So they're put their head down and grind, and let's get that first one. And hopefully that'll open the floodgates. And I know our coaches have been so supportive and pointing out all the great things that they are doing. It's easy to get hung up on losses and what you're not, doing well. But I think it's been the exact opposite. The message has been how close and how many things we're doing well. And we're a young team. We have one senior, as we've talked about before, and she's a really good senior. But there's a lot of growth going on this team. And, I can say next year is going to be so much fun, but we're not finished with this year. So we're expecting to end strong and end well. And it's a one game at a time type of thing.
Over on the boys side, they are still looking good at this point. Picked up a couple of wins recently, most recently against Seven Hills, winning 2-1. So we look at the league schedule standings. We're 2-0-1 in the league, right behind Madeira, who's 3-0-0. And we're not going to have to wait long to get that matchup. It's going to come this Tuesday night against Madeira. It's also going to be youth soccer night there for Indian Hill. So you have a chance to bring out the youngsters and really galvanize them, get them honored. That's always a cool thing to do there. So I want to get your thoughts on not only that youth soccer night, but also looking at the league schedule the rest of the way, because after Madeira, you have Finneytown, Deer Park, and Reading, the last two in October, and all three of those teams are near or at the bottom of the league. So I'm wondering then at that point, how does more emphasis get put on this Madeira match, knowing that the rest of the league schedule does lighten up from here on out?
Emphasis is on the Madeira match because it's the next one, and we know we have a great rivalry with Madeira. Those games are always tough. It's right there in front of us. It's up to us to take care of business. And if we do that, we are in control of the CHL, or right there at the top. So, the other teams in our league that you mentioned that we have further down the road, we're not going to be taking any of them lightly. Let's try to take care of business against Madeira, and then we'll take it the proverbial one game at a time.
With this Madeira matchup, as I mentioned, it's also going to be youth soccer night. Just kind of take us through that, the idea behind it, also just the logistics of it, getting those kids out there, and also, what kind of atmosphere that brings when you have all the youngsters out there to watch this match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those kind of nights are so much fun. You get a bigger crowd. We know that's a big game for us. They will bring just naturally so much positive energy and excitement, and it'll be fun. It should be a great soccer environment. Where we play at Shawnee Field is a soccer specific field, along with lacrosse in the spring, and it's built for a big crowd. Feels like a huge crowd, and hopefully that's a little home field advantage for us, and we'll see, and we'll have a couple of activities to recognize them and make them feel like they're part of the game. But those are great ways as they're community builders. We want our youth to not be able to wait to get to that level and be an Indian Hill Brave, and that they providing these type of experiences, I think, helps get them in that mindset.
We're looking forward to seeing all the sights and sounds from that coming up here on Tuesday night. Let's switch gears and let's talk about your tennis team. And I know in the earlier episodes of the season, we've kind of talked about kind of the ups and downs for the team early on, which is kind of atypical. But as we've also talked about, they've played one of the toughest schedules in the state to help prepare themselves for the postseason. And now, though, seem like we've turned a corner, if you will. They've won 4 in a row, beat Marymount 4-1, and then sweeps over Taylor, CJ, Madeira, all those on the road. You're going to have Ursuline coming up, but also importantly, the Coaches Classic is coming up this weekend. I'm wondering, with the girls, first of all, in this latest run, what has turned for them in this last week to week and a half, and what their expectations are with this momentum as they head into the Classic.
Yeah, the turnaround has been, it's exactly what we expected it to be. We got into league play, which is a little bit different level of competition than we open up with, and our league is up this year in girls tennis, so there have been some good matches, but we're right on course. We also had Mason in there recently, which I think built some confidence from a score standpoint. Again, Mason's one of the top teams in the state, and we had some tiebreakers that go the other way. It's a 3-2 match either way. So, Coaches Classic, we feel fortunate enough to be in the A flight, which is the top flight. So we'll see the Masons again. And that's what you play for. You play to play the best competition. to prepare you for the goal at the end of the season, which is to be state champions. So we've secured the CHL championship. That was goal number one. That's always, I think it's our 25th year in a row for the girls to be CHL champs. And, so we can check that off the list. We have Eaton coming up for the team state tournament. I believe we play them on the 28th. So we will have to travel to Eaton again. That's who we beat last year to make it to the state Final Four. So that's going to be a tough match. They're really good this year. So we're playing exactly the type of tennis we expect to play. Some really tough competition, win these matches in the middle of the season, be ready for the end of the season tournament.
Moving indoors momentarily, let's talk about your volleyball team here, sitting at 4-2 in the league, tied for third with Reading behind Wyoming and Taylor. And you're going to get Reading coming up on Tuesday, and you're going to get a quick turnaround with Wyoming, which will kick off the second half of league play. Wyoming got the better of you this past weekend in a 3-set sweep. So I'm wondering, in the way this week sets up, this is kind of a make or break week for the team in terms of their ability to contend for the league championship, unless they get a lot of outside help from that point on. I'm wondering, given the fact that the Wyoming matchup is so fresh in their minds, how much that can help and motivate them going into the rematch coming up here. And also given the fact that they have looking forward in the next 10 days, they've got 7 matches coming up.
Yeah. Surprisingly, you kind of look at the score, which it was a 3-0 sweep. Wyoming's a really good volleyball team, as we all know, but I think they really built a lot of confidence from that it was a well-played match, a lot closer than the score indicated. So I think they would rather get them on a quick turnaround. Doesn't mean that we're going to beat them 3-0 the next time, but
right.
This is also a young team that's building a lot of confidence. They sit at 500 on the season, as you mentioned, third place in the CHL with some big matches coming up. But I don't think they feel like they haven't been in a match yet this year. And, it's exciting to see the attitude and the fight and the spirit. We continue to believe that we can be, towards the top of the CHL when the season's over.
With this being a young team, and now that we're about to make the turn into the second half of the league schedule, and we're going to see everyone for a second time, are we at a point where the coaches are now working with the girls and saying, hey, now that you've seen the league once now it's time to raise our game even more and try and put a run together in this second half?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. The Taylor match was a good one last week. When we see them again out at their place, I think they feel like that they can give them a really good effort. And just like every other team in the league. So, yeah, we've seen we've kind of been through the league now, and kind of know what type of talent they have and where they sit. And again, it kind of puts us in a position that it's ours to go out and take care of business. And if we do that, we'll see how the chips fall at the end.
Let's talk about your football team. And obviously, as we documented, it's been a tough start to the season here. We start off with 0-4. Wyoming really got the better of you on that night a couple weeks ago. However, we do bounce back this past week and finally break through in the win column against a very good Marymount team. Beat them 21-7 thanks to your defense. It held Marymount to 239 yards total offense, forced 4 turnovers. So again, just take us through this night here and this win, and what the sense was around the boys as they got that first win. And then also looking forward, can this be a turning point for the team as they get set to head to Taylor and Madeira, and also still knowing that despite this start, we still got a chance to finish with a winning record before the season's out?
Yeah, no doubt. We knew going into the season, the first 4 weeks were going to be extremely tough, and it's proven to be so. I believe 2 of those teams of the 4 teams we've played are undefeated at 5-0 in McNick, Wyoming. And all 4 of those games we were in. Shoot, the Wyoming game was 8-0 at the half, and I think the depth this year has proved to kind of be our Achilles heel a little bit. And, we went into this homecoming game against Marymount feeling confident, feeling like even though they were 4-0, we could give them a really good game. And we had them at our place. And as we mentioned before with soccer, it was homecoming. So the energy was electric, and we had a packed house, and our defense came to play. And our offense did some really good things too. John Pottigill, quarterback for us, ties out. And I think he just brought a steadiness to the offense. And we will be really excited to get Ty back. He's one of the best athletes in the city. But Pottergill stepped in and really did the job he was asked to do. And it was a fun night. It was a great night. We have Taylor coming up. We know they're going to be really good, but we knew when we got to week 5 that we had a chance to run the table. And that's exactly where we sit. And, the beginning of the year to say 6-4 doesn't feel like a, hugely successful season, but right now we have a chance to be 6-4 going into the playoffs. And I think, again, a team that, if we're kind of a lower seed or a higher seed, however you look at it, there aren't going to be very many teams that want to play us in that first round game or second round game. So we're in a position to really finish the season off very strong.
As you said, Ty Thornton did not play in that game, a little banged up right now. Get him back soon. John Pottergill fills in admirably, but I also want to get your thoughts on the fact that you've got still a workhorse at tailback in Antoine Peak Jr., who 128 yards and a touchdown. How important was he in this game to steady things, knowing that you had to go to your number 2 signal caller?
He was hugely important. He did what a senior workhorse running back is supposed to do for your team when your back is up against the wall. And it was a give me the ball, and I'm going to help make sure this team wins tonight. And that's what he did. He had a really nice game on offense and defense. And you expect your leaders to shine when you need them the most. And that's exactly what Antoine did on Friday night. And we expect a lot out of him moving forward as well.
Lastly, before I let you go here, I've noticed something that's popped up on your Twitter feed as of late. And there's brief little talks with some of your student athletes here, spotlights, if you will, kind of just brief little conversations you had with some of the students there. Kind of take us through that. What was your mindset, the idea behind that, and what the response has been?
Yeah, so when I was down in Fort Worth, Texas at Fort Worth Country Day, I just started doing these, we call them Falcon Spotlight, and same thing, 60 seconds gives a chance to kind of for the kids to be on TV, if you will, and kind of, some serious questions, but just kind of having a good time. And anytime you can highlight kids, and we have great kids at Indian Hill, it's a chance really selfishly for me to even get to know them a little bit better, but not only for me, but for our community to know who some of these kids are. And it's just kind of a fun little thing. And I'll try to get to as many of our student athletes as possible, but the weeks run out. So we'll finish up the fall and then start highlighting winter kids, and just a fun little thing to recognize our kids.
And for those who haven't been able to check those out as of yet, where can they find you on Twitter?
Yeah, so @Phelps_IH or Indian Hill AD. Those are both my Twitter handles, or IHAD. And if you go to our website, IndianHillBraves.org, and go to media, that stuff's all over our website, and kind of same thing on Instagram. So we try to get out on as many platforms as possible for our community to see all the great things that our kids are doing.
Well, we certainly appreciate your efforts in that regard, and also joining us here on the podcast here today. Best of luck out at the middle today. Get out, enjoy some of that weather out there, and we'll be looking forward to our next conversation in a couple of weeks.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Go Braves.
That is Indian Hill Athletic Director Brian Phelps joining us for Inside Indian Hill Braves Athletics here on IndianHillBraves.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.